So in this video, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurial leadership. It's thrown around a lot. It's a big topic of discussion. It's very important. And here's kind of why it's so important. The reality is, how many people have you genuinely met in your life that were solid leaders, right? That you would call a great leader? The number is usually very low. Maybe you've had a few good role models, in your life, but have you really spent time analyzing what made them a good leader, right? Have you really started to think about what it is that a good leader does, right? I'm sure you've had a lot of bad leaders. I believe that number is a lot higher than good leaders, right? So it's always interesting to think about what makes a good leader as an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurs go through these phases, these cycles, these seasons where it's just them doing all the work by themselves, grinding it out. But there comes a point when you realize you need a team. There comes a point where you need help. There comes a point where you become successful. And the only way for you to manage everything is honestly by building a team of great people. With my latest company, we've really focused on hiring for three things, okay? Number one, they got to have good work ethic, right? We want batteries included. We want them to be driven. We want them to be self-motivated. We don't want to babysit. Number two, we want them to be a good culture fit. And doing the culture fit has been the biggest change, because I when I was first an entrepreneur, I would literally hire anybody that could breathe that was willing to help me work, right? And I would end up with all these like VAs in the Philippines, and I would end up with these Russian people in California. Nothing against them. I actually really enjoyed them. But when I started this newest company, instead of hiring kind of people that I didn't really have any relation, like I didn't have anything in common with a lot of the first round of my team that I built for my funding company. And there wasn't like a barrier, there wasn't anything wrong with it. They were amazing people. I loved all of my employees, but the shift when I changed for hiring for culture fit and working with people that I want to work with was a big deal, because it brings the team closer, right? It makes you more powerful when you hire people that are smarter than you, that you want to hang out with, that do the work, and it's really changed a lot. But then you still have to be a leader of these people. You still have to guide them. And leadership does not come naturally, and you don't learn it in one day. It's really more of just screwing up over and over and over and making mental notes. But it's also about being empathetic and understanding what needs to get done to become a better leader, right? And then the third thing that we hire for is that it factor. I tend to interview a lot of people and be very, very picky until I get somebody where I'm like, whoa, like this person wants to work for me. That's the it factor. And then I hire slow, fire fast is a very real deal. But more upon the leadership, the only way that I've found to truly be a good leader is lead by example. A lot of times people just don't want to do the work, and they hire people and you learn very quickly when you do this that the blind cannot lead the blind. So as the CEO, this is my personal opinion, I should be able to do everybody's job better than they do it. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing, and then I can hire people that can do it better than I can do it. And when I get that combination of I know what needs to get done at every single one of these positions, and now I can plug somebody in and teach them exactly what to do, and they do it better than I can do it, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're building a real team. Now we're on it. And the way that you lead by example is by showing up, being respectful, being responsible, giving your employees everything humanly possible to make that so that their success is inevitable. And when you do stuff like that, when you incentivize with bonuses and you help them figure out how to improve and you listen, the big thing about leadership that I've learned is you have to listen to what all of your employees say, but you don't have to do anything that they say. But you should always be listening to their gripes and complaints with a grain of salt, but you have to genuinely listen and genuinely care to help them find solve a problem. Otherwise, the problem will never get solved. But you don't have to do what they say. That's a big thing, especially when you're managing sales teams. I mean, Jesus, if we would just listen to all of our sales guys, we would just we would make no money because they don't know what they're doing. They just do sales calls. Let them do their job. And yes, we can improve on what they're saying, but they don't understand marketing. They don't understand offers. They don't understand this, and they just want to complain because they've just been on 40 hours of Zoom calls and they're tired of talking to people over and over. But that's part of their job, right? So all I'm saying is listen, write down, analyze, but don't make decisions solely based on your employees, of what they say. So entrepreneur leadership, own your path, create value, lead boldly. So the biggest thing with entrepreneurship that you need to take to heart is life is a fight for territory, and the only true wealth comes from ownership. That means owning your own responsibility, owning your company, owning your team, owning the business, being responsible for not only the clients that come into your business, but the employees you let into your business, and even the people that you let into your inner circle in your life. So own everything. Master this, and you will live a great life. Don't master this. Let the termites into your ship. Let the snakes into your garden. Right? And you're in for a world of pain. Your choices and actions and results equal your responsibility. The biggest thing about entrepreneurship is no one is coming to save you. You know, when you used to have a job, or if you still have a job, you know, you would sometimes go out and party, and then you show up to work hungover, work your 8-hour shift and go home, do a half-assed job the whole day and still get paid. In entrepreneurship, it doesn't work that way. You need to be switched on. You need to make sure that you are an adult. You're a business entrepreneur adult. You're leading by example, and you're taking care of business, and you're not overspending. You're not underworking. Like, just because you own the company doesn't mean you can stop doing the work, right? The work must get done, and no one is coming to save you. And you will only learn this when you truly commit and you put yourself in those situations. Now, the good news is, if you're doing the right stuff, there are going to be hard times, but typically, when you do the right things, the universe takes care of you, and good things happen. But when you do the wrong things, there's no one to blame but yourself. So you really have to find this balance of being the best leader you can while being a professional and doing the right stuff. You know, an example of this right now, we're making record months after record months, and I've been funding, and I've been getting tons of money, which is really cool. But now all those loans and credit cards have to get paid back, and they have interest, and there's slippage, right? Because as you grow a business, your cost to acquire a customer almost always increases. So your margins go down. So then you have to raise your price of your product. But then your product may not have the highest quality that it should be for the higher price. So then you have more refunds. And it just becomes this game that you have to grab control of, grab life by the horns and steer it in the right direction to make sure you are successful. So there's levels to this stuff. Just starting a business takes control and no one's going to save you. But then when you're at the highest level, there's still levels of control that you have. And when you kind of steer the ship in the wrong direction and you're on a big ship, it can take you off course by miles just from one small fuck up. So be mindful is all I'm saying. Have a plan, have a mentor, find other great leaders, learn from them, because you create the value, not your job, not your environment. You as the entrepreneur and as the leader. As an entrepreneur, you are the driver. You don't wait. You don't ask permission. You push projects forward and you take complete ownership for the company, okay? If an employee doesn't do their job and the project doesn't get done on time, it's not the employee's fault. It's your fault. Take complete ownership. Take complete responsibility. Now, when I say that, you also want to hire employees that have that driver mentality, that have that ability to get things done and do them in a timely fashion at the best of their ability and not make excuses. Accountability and ownership is very, very tough in business. This is every day I deal with this. The sales guys blame the marketing team. Marketing team blames the sales guys. The Fulfillment team blames the sales guys. The sales guys blame the management. The management blames the employees. And no one takes any accountability. We're all just pointing fingers at each other. That is the wrong way to be a leader. You're not also supposed to just blame everybody, though, for not doing their job. If your employees don't know what they're doing or they're doing it wrong, it's your fault. And you have to take that to your core, and you have to be okay with it. And you also have to not take yourself too serious, or you'll lose employees that were really good. But you also have to understand, like, all of these people are dealing with lots of stuff in their life, right? Some people have newborns at home and they're working. Some people have mental issues that they're dealing with that you don't even know about, right? So you have to be understandable, or not understandable. You have to be empathetic. You have to be driven, and you have to be realistic. So just remember that. Everything is your responsibility. As an entrepreneur, you can't wait. You have to be proactive. Let's wait and see is passive. True productivity equals taking initiative before perfect conditions. Leadership shape the path. They do not react to it. You should always be visualizing where the business is going and setting large targets and having high standards. And you should be encouraging your team to be thinking big. That's why I have that sign right behind me, literally right here. Think big. And if you have a big enough target, all the little stuff becomes less because you are thinking bigger and you're solving problems at a higher level that the little piddly stuff should not bother you. You should not be bothered, but you should always be driving the team to that next level. And you should not be doing it in a reactive way. You should be doing it in a proactive way. You should be planning for problems that haven't even happened yet, so that when they do happen, you're already ahead of it. This is how true entrepreneur leadership can take control. Now, there is no growth without risk. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Helen Keller. Playing it safe guarantees small results. Real growth is taking calculated risks. Businesses are the best vehicle for generational wealth. But if you're only making small profits and taking small risks and not going for the big opportunities, you're leaving money on the table, and it is actually a bigger risk than you know, because playing it safe can only get you so far. Now, going completely off the edge and going way out of your comfort zone can be beneficial sometimes, but you also have to take responsibility and the repercussions for your actions. So, as the leader, you need to be driving the machine forward while taking risk without getting over-leveraged and not playing it small. This is called the Goldilocks of entrepreneurship. The Goldilocks of a good CEO is moving everything systematically forward while taking complete responsibility for the results, but also staying proactive and building a great team to support you so that you can make your success undeniable. That's the job of the leader. Trade small now for big later. Hard choices now, massive success later. There's always a great story about the bamboo farmer. See, when you grow bamboo, it doesn't even pop out of the ground for 5 years. Can you imagine being a farmer of a bamboo farm? And for 5 years, you go out there every day and you water the ground with no sprouts, nothing growing. And then finally on the 5th year, the bamboo shoots up. And when it finally does shoot up, bamboo can grow up to 20 feet a day. But for 5 years, you showed up every single day. You planned, you worked hard, you watered. And if you would have taken any time off, the bamboo could have died. But because you were committed, because you were disciplined, because you were consistent, you grew and it explodes at that 5-year mark. A lot of times, I think there's a Bible verse even that God says that God will show up and hit when he's ready. Not when you're ready, but when God's ready. God always shows up on time. We are the impatient creatures. We are the irrational creatures that make emotional decisions, right? But you need to, as the CEO, as the entrepreneur, as the leader, you need to make the hard choices now. If you make an amazing product and you work on it every day, and then finally something kicks off, your entire life will change overnight. But it never would have happened if it was a garbage product. It never would have happened if you didn't take the time to build the foundation, to plant the roots, to have your roots go super deep so that you could finally grow and have that hockey stick growth. Very, very powerful. Leaders think in decades, not days. Lead like an entrepreneur. So take radical responsibility. Be the driver, not the passenger. Take smart risks. Create value before expecting reward. As an entrepreneur, you only get paid from the value that you create. Okay, you're not going to, very, very small chances that you're just going to get handouts. You're going to earn everything that you make, and the only way that you're going to make anything or earn anything is if you put in the hard work when no one is watching. Always be trying to figure out, where is the big money? Where is the next step? Okay? And always be moving towards bigger and bigger targets. And be bold with your actions. Think big, start small, act now, and be bold. What bold move will you make this week as a leader, as an entrepreneur? So this has been how to be an entrepreneur leader. I hope this was helpful. I hope you took some notes or you learned something. And again, being a good leader doesn't mean always beating people with a stick. I really have seen a lot better results by leading with the carrot, okay? Inspire your team, motivate them to do better, give them every possible tool and all the time that it takes to make them successful so that their success is undeniable, and they will take care of you. Essentially, as a leader, you take care of your team takes care of your customers will take care of the profit, and almost all problems in business can be solved with more sales. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And again, I really recommend hiring for work ethic, hiring for culture, and then hiring for that it factor. The people that have the magic and the people that you want to work with that work hard, they're going to be the ones that can dramatically change your life and their life because you created the business and you gave them that opportunity. So be a good leader, be empathetic, understand human nature, understand people have off days, but always stay in control, take full responsibility, and steer the ship in the right direction, and eventually you will have that hockey stick growth with amazing people that you love working with, and that's what it's all about.